I had the privilege of working for an entrepreneur. I worked for one of your board members, actually, who was on the screen a minute ago, and that was Duncan Bannatyne. He's his development director in three businesses we worked in together. But now I'm a minister in the government. I've been there for 6 months. I think it was around 6 months. You quoted House of Cards. You may remember that other series, the older guys here, called Yes Minister. So after about 6 months, I remember Jim Hackett leaned back in his chair and he said, "I've been minister here for 6 months and nothing much seems to have changed." Bernard says, "You must be very proud." It's not like that. We do want this country to change. We want this country to be the very best place in the world to start a business, to grow a business, to finance a business. And that's why we want to focus on enterprise and do much more than any previous government to champion the people like you who risk your own money to create jobs for others in order to put this economy back onto a secure footing. Now, of course, times are tough. And that's why in government, we want to work with business to ensure that our businesses are fighting fit and ready to win in these challenging times. And let's look at the figures. Last year, more businesses were started in Britain than on any year on record. There were approximately 490,000 new business startups, higher than in any other year since 2008, and only a small drop on 2011. Now, businesses need the right conditions to do well, and I want to focus very briefly on how we help businesses get access to the finance you need, how we support small and, Harry was right, yes, micro businesses and medium-sized businesses to grow and to expand. A significant challenge for businesses, especially for the smallest, is accessing the external finance they need to grow. Many are discouraged from applying, often by the negative media portrayal, being told constantly that banks aren't lending, or simply being unaware of the help that's available. Only 1 in 10 SMEs applied for funding last year. Now, government has to help there. First, with a number of schemes, and yes, we're improving the funding for lending scheme. It's started successfully, but most of its impact has been felt in the mortgage market, and we're changing the criteria now with the help of the Bank of England to ensure more of it gets through the banks into SME lending, and through our own schemes too, like the Enterprise Finance Guarantee Scheme, which has offered over 2,000 guarantees, enabling 250 million of finance so far this year, on top of 350 million of finance last year. But more needs to be done while we're reforming the banking system, making it more competitive, encouraging new banks to come in to the market, making switching between banks easier. While all that is being done, we need to do more ourselves. So that's why we're building a business bank to address specifically the difficulty that SMEs have in accessing the capital they'll need. That business bank will have $1 billion of government funding, which will be used to lever in extra private sector finance. From this spring, some 300 million will be invested by government and private investors as well. But it isn't simply finance. It is also vital to ensure growth as well. And we're doing that by creating a competitive tax system so that businesses choose to locate here and to grow. That includes taking difficult political decisions like scrapping the 50p income tax rate, effective from this April. That means reducing the cost of red tape that holds business back. That means targeting investment in infrastructure to unlock business growth. And that means, because of the importance of business as wealth creators, it means too cutting taxes on business. There will be a further 1% cut in corporation tax, from April 2015 to take it to 20%, the joint lowest in the G20, significantly lower than corporation tax in our key competitors, the United States, France and Germany, but lower too than the rate in China, lower than the rate in Indonesia, lower than the rate in India. We're particularly keen also to boost investment in early stage businesses. That's why we're extending our seed enterprise investment scheme. Investors get a 50% reduction on capital gains tax when they reinvest in seed companies right through to 2015. Now, where businesses face obstacles to growth, they also need access to the right kind of support. Only half of British businesses seek advice. But our academic research tells us that those who do take external advice are twice as likely to grow as those who don't. We want to see more organisations exactly like this one, run by business people, for business people. We've recruited 15,000 new mentors from the business community to a total of 27,000 mentors accessible up and down the country. We're making 30 million available from this budget for a growth vouchers programme that will test a variety of new approaches that will help SMEs overcome barriers to growth, being able to purchase external advice. Over the next 3 years, our Growth Accelerator programme is set to deliver 75,000 new jobs. We have targeted 5,000 companies in the first 9 months and another 20,000 companies each year. These are the small companies with the highest growth potential who are able to access specialist consultancy and coaching with government support. Now, I could go on and describe a whole range of schemes, but the true function of government, obviously, is to get the public finances right and then to help build the right conditions for enterprise to flourish. Getting the tax right, cutting the regulation back, and making sure that businesses have access to a competitive range of finance. And finally, doing what we can in government to help change the culture. Entrepreneurship is alive and well in this country. I believe entrepreneurship is growing again. I see it particularly in colleges, amongst young businesses, amongst our young people. It's government job to make sure that we help entrepreneurship to flourish and create